Hey, this is Matt from InvestiQuant. Today is Thursday, June 11th, 2020. And yesterday we had the FOMC announcement come out. We had a little bit of a poor reaction to it, and we ended up closing down near the lows of the session for the day. And then in the overnight session, we have continued lower. So what we have this morning is a pretty sizable down gap happening after the FOMC announcement. So I want to test that scenario here real quick, and we're going to look at that in all four instruments. We're going to use the setup intraday open long. So this is a long at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and it exits at the close 4:15 p.m. Eastern time. And the way I'm going to define this sizable down gap is I'm going to use a percentage of the 5-day ATR to determine how big the gap is. Now, at the time of this recording, we're trading down about 130% of the 5-day ATR. And the 5-day ATR for the ES right now is about 52 points. So we're trading even more beyond that. We're about 65 points down coming into the open. I'm sure that's going to change a little bit before this actually goes out and before we actually open, but we're down sizably. So what I want to do is come into this gap size as a percent of the 5-day ATR. I'm going to put a minimum gap size. I'm going to start with 100% of the 5-day ATR as a minimum gap size. So that means we are gapping down, since I'm selecting gapping down, at least 100% of the recent volatility. And then I'm going to come down to market events, and I'm going to find the day after the FOMC announcement, and then I'm going to click view results. And here are the results. So this has not happened very often at all. It looks like the ES only has 4 samples, NASDAQ 4, YM3, Russell, and 1. So very rare scenario to get this large of a gap the day after the FOMC announcement. So with it being this rare, there's really not a whole lot to read into these numbers. It hasn't hardly happened. So let me back off this gap size 100%, and let me cut that in half. Let's just do 50%. So it's still a really sizable down gap the day after the FOMC announcement, and we should be able to get some more results. Here we go. So this is based off of gapping down at least 50% of the 5-day ATR. And again, the ATR is just a way to measure recent volatility. So we're getting at least 50% of a recent volatility range as a gap size down after the FOMC announcement. When we go to the 50% number instead of the 100, we do get more samples. Still not a lot, but ES is now up to 20, NASDAQ 12, YM 20, Russell 15. And it looks like the win rates on these are all around 35% for 3 of the 4. NASDAQ's 50-50, but they have been a little bit weak here recently. Or at least over the sample size. I shouldn't say recently. Our sample size is going back to 2003, but they have been weak as a whole on the few samples that we have. So this rare scenario has not been favorable historically on the long side. Hope you found that interesting. Good luck today, and we will see you next time.